Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hobby Lodge, and I'm going to do another quick video because we've had another outing and we've been to another retro shop, and this time of course it's the Retro Realm we've been to. Now I've been there many times before, but today I went up there again. I got to meet with Sega Zombie, my good friend Scott, spent some time with him, took the kids up as I always do, and did some trading, got some stuff. So I thought I'd jump into it. But anyway, as I'm talking, I'm going to flash up some images and some video of what I saw in the store. But if you don't know the Retro Realm, it is a small shop. There's no two ways of getting around it. It's absolutely a small shop with grand ambitions to become a lot more in the future. And it's in Ipswich's town centre. So once you go into the town centre, there's this little sort of indoor market area called the Micro Pop-Up Shops, Microshops. Once you go in there, Scott's up the back. You go past, there's some lovely food places in. And once you go in, that's the first thing you notice when you go in. Some amazing aroma of food when you go in there. There's a cafe if you want to sit down and get some coffee, so on and so forth. There's a burrito place. Actually, we ate a burrito while we were there. There's all sorts of things. There's hairdressers in there. There's a nerd hut in there. The nerd hut is much more sort of focused on things like board games and war games and paints and card games. So of course we went and looked in there as well, but made a beeline for Scott's shop at the back there, so at the Retro Realm. As always, it's fantastic to see Scott. He's a great friend. When it comes to the world of retro video gaming, who knows, who doesn't know more? The guy is an encyclopedia of all things retro, but on top of that, a super nice guy and always great to hang out with. So we didn't get too much time together. Obviously, he's running his shop. I don't want to interrupt him. I want him to focus on the business that he's doing. And I've got 3 kids hanging off me who don't really understand about standing around chatting. So we were there probably an hour or so going through some stuff. I took up some things to trade. I'll show it now. And it was pretty much my entire Evercade collection. So the Evercade has exited the Hobby Lodge. There is no longer any remnants of the Evercade in the Hobby Lodge. It is a system that for me personally, I was on the hype train for it. I was buying every single cartridge that came out. I owned both the handheld and the VS. But to be frank, for me, it was a hollow experience. There are easier ways to play those games in emulation. The handheld and the console did nothing for me from a nostalgia point of view, from a hobby point of view. It was just a system for me, and that seemed silly to have that laying around when I could move it on and use the money to buy something else. So that's what I did. I decided to trade it in with Scott, so I'm sure he'll be able to distribute it out and sell it on. I know he's absolutely ecstatic about having an Evercade collection now in his shop. So hey, if you want some Evercade stuff, I'm looking at you, Everneil. Get yourself up to the Retro Realm and buy yourself some Evercade gear. Anyway, yeah, so took that up there, got that traded in, took a look around the shop. And if you don't know Scott's shop, he's got everything in there, not just retro video games in there, but of course retro toys, retro board games, figures, not just like toy figures, but the more sort of need more display type figures, the lots of horror type ones. There are Funko Pops in there now. There are obviously toys from the 80s such as He-Man and Thundercats and so on and so forth, in the 90s actually, and a plethora of board games and VHS and DVD, and then all of the games you can think of as well. So he is certainly, for the space he has, he's certainly crammed it with excellent stuff. And he even has room for a little display area for people to play games. So every day he'll have maybe a different system hooked up and a different game playing, so you can come in and play it. Today he had an arcade stick set up, one of these Pandora boxes, so you could go in and play it. I have one on the table behind me that's actually in need of repair, sadly, but his one was the really cool one. I like it because it's got like the Street Fighter Ryu character on the front. It's very nice, and yeah, you can jump on there and play some games in the shop as well. So he's always welcoming of anyone that comes in. He's always able there to ask questions, talk about the period in which the games are from, and what he feels nostalgically about them. So yeah, it seems like a really great vibe when you go into, especially that Microshops bit. They all seem to be helping each other out. It's a really cool vibe in there, so I definitely recommend you going. Anyway, let's jump into what I picked up. Because I made a massive trade, I never want to take money out of the shop. I always want to make a trade, but then also spend some money. That's the plan, right? That is always my goal when I go there. I never want to leave having me be up and his shop be down, because I think what he's doing is very courageous. Running a brand new shop in this day and age, especially in the sort of arena that he's running it in, I think it's very important that if we can, we go there and we support him as much as we possibly can. So let's talk about what I got. And it all comes nicely, actually, packaged in the first item from the shop. And the first item from the shop is a Retro Realm tote bag. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Exclusive bag from the shop to hold all of my goodies in. So this is going to be a bit like my Santa's sack. We're about to go through here and show you what I got. So first off, we'll just pull things out, shall we? The first thing is Operation Wharf on the Commodore 64. Now, I think I actually own this already, but I can't be 100% sure. But nothing wrong with having 2 copies of it, and eventually maybe one will appear on the Retro Realm, or my friend Nerdy the Geezer, he lives around the corner, maybe after a copy himself. Next up we have, here we go, Operation Thunderbolt, and this is on the Amiga. Now, I am building up my Amiga collection, so it's lovely to see, whenever I see Amiga games out in the wild, I try and grab onto them. Now, let me just check I am being correct with this, because I know some of them were the C64. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's for the Commodore 64. Of course it is. There we go. This one is the Amiga one. Yes, here it is. Here it is. So here we go. We have Operation Wharf on the Amiga. So not only do we have Operation Wharf on the Commodore 64, we also have it on the Amiga as well. There we go. There we go. There's the discs inside. That's what I was looking for. And last time I saw tapes, not discs. So lots of operations there on both of the systems. What else did we pick up? We picked up Back to the Future. Now this, I believe, is the Amiga version. Let me just check. Yes, it is. Back to the Future 2 on the Amiga. Very happy to have that. We'll get that fired up and played. Next we picked up, I'm trying to grab things out of here. Oh yes, I wanted to pick this up because I don't know why I don't own a copy of this, but this was like when I remember when the PlayStation 3 first came out. This was the big game. This was the hype for the game, right? This was the release title for the game, and I didn't realize I didn't own a copy of it. I have played it, and I must have rented it maybe or borrowed it, but it's Heavenly Sword, so nothing heavy. It's only a very cheap game, but yeah, Heavenly Sword on the PS3. So very much a God of War time, before God of War was the Ragnarok games that it is now, but back when it's just a hack and slash, that's a very similar game to that, but obviously with your female protagonist. Right, so the next one is the big one, and then I got bits and pieces to go with it. I don't actually own this. Well, I'll show you the games first. We'll do the games first, and then we'll do the big one at the end, shall we? That's the way to do this. So we picked up some 3DS games. So nothing that anyone's going to get too crazy about, but I wanted to start building a bit of a 3DS collection. The 3DS is the system that I actually don't own a proper 3DS. I own a new 2DS. I own a old 2DS. I own DS's. I own all the others, but I don't own a new 3DS. It's hard saying this, but you know the one I mean. The one with the extra little thumb control, the new 3DS. So I started picking up some games for that. So we got Paper Mario on the 3DS. We got, of course, you know, just games to play that you can just chuck on and start having a go at. And of course, you know, Super Smash Bros is always going to be a game you can just throw on and have a quick blast at. I then wanted to get sort of like a big RPG game to play on there. So hey, we got Zelda Majora's Mask. There's a big old game there. And my kids, they're big into Pokemon and Pokemon, everything Pokemon at the moment. So we got Pokemon Moon on the 3DS. They absolutely love at the moment Pokemon. Pokemon Go has made a resurgence in our house. And whenever we go out for a walk, they're stuck to whatever device they can get hold of to hunt for Pokemon. And even my wife's in on it now, so she's hunting Pokemon as well. it's, I don't know, it's not for me, but if it means they'll come with me on a dog walk, then I'll put up with it. So yes, a bunch of 3DS games. Now you're like, wow, that's crazy, why have you bought a bunch of 3DS games when you haven't got a proper new 3DS? Well, I now do own a proper new 3DS, because this is what I picked up from the realm, was the 3DS Xenoblade Chronicles set. Yes, saw this in there. Obviously had a nice chunk of credit to do something with, so I thought, why not get on it and pick this up. So yeah, it looks absolutely lovely. I am going to open it so you can look at it inside. So let's do that now. Now you're all going to say, oh Martin, surely you're going to stick this on your shelf and never touch it. Nah, that's not who I am. So I will absolutely be taking this out and playing it and using it. Oh, some extra cover. Oh, they must be the cover plates that came in it, surely. Well, anyway, there's a thing with some cover plates in there. I'm going to slide this out. So it actually has a game in there as well by the looks of it. I wasn't sure if it was just a download code only, but it's not. It does have a box copy of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. That's nice. Now, I would say if there's anyone who's super interested in the box, I'll happily talk to you about whether that's something you want, because the console means more to me than the box and materials and stuff. And I know for some people it is all about those things, but for me, it's really not. Oh, okay, they've included the, I won't get the other plates out, but they've included the standard plates in there if you want to put the standard plates back on your 3DS. But here we go, yeah. It is the Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS case. There we go, all on your new. Let me give it a bit of a wipe down. Give it a bit of a, so it looks all nice and flashy on camera, but there we go. Yeah, so I'm really happy at this because I haven't had a chance to play the new 3D stuff. So how well, I know the 3D on the old ones was a bit hit and miss, and some people liked it and some people suffered with it. So I'm really happy to have gotten a new model now. And you know it's the new model because it's got the, I think it's called the C stick, but it's essentially a second thumbstick because you're doing that with it basically, and you know, you get what I mean. But yes, we should give it a go and I'll report back what I think. But yeah, very happy with that indeed. So yeah, that was pretty much my haul. The 3DS Xenoblade Chronicles, a bunch of games to go with it, so I've now got a nice little collection. If there's any 3DS games you think I should be checking out, please stick them in the comment below. I do have a couple over there, but not that many. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think are the killer titles that you should play, especially maybe ones that show off the 3D. That would be amazing. And then we picked up some C64 and some Commodore Amiga. Of course I was going to buy some of those. Whenever he's got those in the shop, I take them. And Scott knows that even if he gets some in, he lets me know if he's got some. So he's like, oh, it's Commodore, I'll stick it aside for Martin and let him have first dibs at it, which is very nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Scott, for having us there. Thank you very much for doing me a deal on the Evercade. I cannot tell you how much better I feel about having this in the Hobby Lodge compared to having that Evercade collection. Yeah, I certainly came out very happy, and hopefully there's stuff for you that you're able to sell in the store and continue to prosper there. Right, well, I've rambled on enough. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, do all the things, but most importantly, go and visit the Retro Realm in Ipswich Town Centre, because it's well worth your visit and you're supporting a really cool thing that I hope continues to flourish and grow. All right, I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.